Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of...
Did I just say another episode?
What I meant to say is welcome back to another life-changing episode
of me putting a heater
in my trailer. Hi there, welcome back. If you're just joining us now, welcome here. And if you have been following along, what you saw me do previously was build this turret to fit through the hole in the floor. And so what I'm doing now here is disassembling everything, and I'm going to put it back together using a high heat sealant. Now, I'm not sure if all models are like this, but this heater comes with a nice soft rubber gasket, which will go between the mounting plate and the heater itself. This is the sealant that I had. I built myself a pizza oven a while back, and so I had this high heat sealant. It withstands temperatures up to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit, and so I don't think it'll have any problem whatsoever. Another thing that I have to bear in mind is the wire harness. All these wires do different things, as you can well imagine. This red one is going to connect to our power. There's a little inline fuse. This short black one is going to be connecting to a ground. Now it's interesting, people have installed them and they say connect these directly to the battery terminals. Clearly they're not requiring me to connect these to the positive and negative terminals on the battery itself, or else they'd be the same length, but they're not the same length. The other ones in this harness, this one here with the double pin, that is what goes to the fuel pump. Which is right here. And you look, you can see they're both 2 pins. And yeah, they fit together. Then you got one other one here that is a little round 3-prong fitting. And that one goes to the thermostat control itself. Having said all of that, you notice how this little plate has this weird little notch in it. What that will allow me to do is feed this fuel pump lead. Presumably it fits through the hole here. Yes, it does. Feed it out the bottom of the trailer without having to drill another hole in the floor. This fits like this, and this lead conveniently drops through this hole. Okay, let's drop our bolts back in. Going to have to do that one more time, because before I bolt this down to the floor, I want to run a bead all the way around here to make sure this is sealed to the floor. The reason I'm doing that is because I do not want any exhaust fumes to be able to find their way back up into the trailer. Okay, something else I'm going to do prior to dropping it down the hole, and only because working on it topside like this is going to be easier than getting at things from below and working upside down. And that is, I'm just going to connect my various pieces And if you're installing one of these yourself, the easy way to differentiate between which is the exhaust and which is the intake is that the fuel line connector is closest to the intake, right? This doesn't get hot. The exhaust side gets hot, and so they've positioned the fuel intake further away from the exhaust. Part of the trick in doing tight work like this is to hold your tongue in exactly the right position. One of the reasons why Michael Jordan was such a great basketball player. I mentioned in my first video the type of fuel line that I'm using, and that is this stuff. It's a hard material that does not collapse, and but it also doesn't attach to the little tube that's sticking out of here. So you have to put in pieces that allow you to connect them together. And that's what this fuel line is for. It's included in the kit. And so what I'm going to do at this stage is connect a small piece of it that will just stick out a little bit. And that will make life so much easier, again, when I go to connect the fuel line, because I will be connecting to this piece that is easier to access, and trying to get way down to that little piece in there. You want to cut it with a sharp knife, something like an X-Acto knife, or something that's not going to collapse the hose. And I would also say, now this is included, but if you ever run into a situation where it's not included, it's really important to use actual fuel line. Don't be using any type of just other tubing or whatnot that you find. You need actual fuel line because it needs to be able to withstand exposure to the fuel itself. Gasoline, diesel, which this runs on, they break down certain types of materials, certain types of rubber compounds, and so it's very important that you use the proper product, like the right tool for the job. You know, you do not want your fuel line degrading and disintegrating on you. That will just lead to problems that you do not want to have. Okay, so you see how this little bit sticks up? Here, let me show you. Air intake, exhaust, fuel line. And now that this is here, it's much easier to access. This is ready to be dropped in the hole. You may recall in our last episode when we cut the hole in the floor how it revealed that it was kind of a sandwich. We've got the tiles, we've got plywood, we've got insulation and vapor barrier, and then whatever material that hard board is on the underside of the trailer. But you can see when you look in the hole here how it's sort of spread apart. Over the last 57 years, the underside of the trailer has sagged a little bit. And so what I have to do is figure out a way to compress it so that the turret fits right to the bottom of the opening and doesn't allow any gaps for insects to get through. Now, I figured out a way, and I think you'll like it. It's pretty creative. I used materials that are as old as this trailer itself. Okay, so yeah, it's in the hole, and there's my exhaust and air intake, and lead that will go to my fuel pump. I think that's lots of length. I can make it anywhere onto the frame piece over here, which is where I can see it being mounted. And if you look here, this is what I was referring to earlier when we were inside the trailer, and I was talking about a solution for this problem. Over the years, this bottom piece has, it's just sagged, right? It was a lot, there was no sagginess to the underside of the trailer when it was brand new. So I need to get creative, because I'd like it to clear the bottom. I don't want it sticking up like that with exposed insulation. That just invites rodents, insects, whatnot to get up into here. And I think I figured out a way to do that. I'm going to make a piece that slips over here and then screws up into the underside of the plywood floor, and we'll just tighten up as necessary. That is secure, and that is sealed. So, I think I'm going to wrap this episode here, and when we see each other again, we'll head back underneath the trailer to fix up that gap. And if you're getting any usefulness out of this content, please feel free to like and subscribe. Take care.